Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be discussing two past year questions of Indian economic services. The first question is related to elasticity. So, in the first question, as it is visible on the screen, the demand function, the inverse demand function is given to us as P equals to 4 minus 0.5 Q square. So, they want us to find the value of Q such that elasticity of demand equals to -1. That is, it is unitary elastic. So we know the shape of a curve which is unitary elastic. It is called a rectangular hyperbola. Okay. Now we know the formula of elasticity. It is nothing but change in Q upon change in P into P by Q. Right. With the help of this equation, we can find del P equals to 2 times 4 minus 0.5 Q into minus 0.5 del Q. So del P by del Q is, this will become minus 4 minus 0.5 Q. And we know elasticity. So substituting this value into this, we have 1 upon minus 4 minus 0.5 Q, and price is 4 minus 0.5 Q square, and quantity is Q. So this would cancel out. So this should be equal to -1. So this minus sign would also cancel out. So we are left with the equation 4 minus 0.5 Q should be equals to Q. So 4 should be equal to 1.5 Q. So Q should be equals to 4 upon 1.5, which is 8 by 3, which is 2.66 or 2.67, 667. So we can say for value of Q equals to 8 by 3, the elasticity is 1 throughout. Now look at the second question. So there's a two commodity framework. We need to tell the shape of the indifference curve when one commodity is bad. A bad commodity leads to lower utility as you keep on increasing. So okay, I'll define what a bad commodity is. A bad commodity is one such as pollution, because as you consume more of it, your total utility keeps on falling. That is, marginal utility is less than 0. Okay. Now the indifference curve shows the combinations of the two goods which leads to, so suppose this is bad, this is good. So indifference curve shows combination of two goods which leads to same level of satisfaction. And since this is good, this is bad, so if we increase the consumption of good, then we need to increase the consumption of bad as well to remain on the same indifference curve. So in this case, the indifference curve would be upward sloping, because if we are at this point A, and if we increase the consumption of the good commodity, then we need to increase the consumption of the bad one as to remain on the same indifference curve. Okay, it is upward sloping, but it would take shape like this or this. Now what would a shape like this suggest? So here it is bad, here it is good. This would suggest that a slight change in good is sufficient even if there is a large change in bad. Okay, so you value this good. Okay, so you value this particular good so much that even a small change in this is sufficient to compensate for this much large change in bad. Okay, similarly, on the other hand, in this case, you want to, suppose you are at point this and you get to point this, so you need to have a higher amount of the good commodity to consume to compensate for the small increase in the bad commodity. So the bad good is very bad for you. You can interpret it in this manner, that it's leading to a very high fall in marginal utility. Okay, now the B part, you are supposed to Okay, in this case we are supposed to draw when one commodity is neutral. Okay, what does a neutral commodity mean? It means irrespective of, so basically you are indifferent between consuming that thing or not. It doesn't increase your utility, right? So suppose if I am going through the road and I see a park, but park doesn't give me any level of satisfaction, so I'm actually indifferent whether there is a park or not. So given a choice between a neutral and a good, I would always prefer to consume good only, and I won't be spending any part on the neutral good. So suppose our good x is neutral and y is a normal good which you gives positive satisfaction. So in case of this, we'll will be consuming, will prefer to consume only y. We are concerned with only y. We don't really care about how much satisfaction is being given, how much x units are given. So even as the good x is increasing in this direction, the utility level is remaining same because the individual is more concerned or only concerned about the consumption of y only. The indifference curve would, so IC2 would show a higher indifference curve, IC3 would show a further higher indifference curve. In this case as well, these curves would show a higher indifference curve because the amount of, okay, in this case because the good amount is same and the bad has increased, so this would show a lower indifference curve and this would be a higher indifference curve. Similarly, we can see this is the good which gives you a higher satisfaction. So this is a fixed amount, suppose A, okay, suppose B, and the it leads to higher amount of bad. In this case, this is the higher amount of bad you are getting, so this would lead to a lower indifference curve. So more you get to this point would lead to a higher indifference curve. Similarly in this case. Thank you. In case if you have any queries or doubt, you can post it on the